Where's Stacey from?
I am a Northwest Iowa country girl.
Northwest Iowa.
Through and through. So I'm a Hawkeye fan, so we're not going to start fighting already. We're not going to start fighting.
Hey, I'm going to be honest with you. I really have love for the Hawkeyes because the times that I played at Nebraska, thanks to Iowa, I was able to win 3 conference championships.
Oh, yeah, here we go. It starts all the time.
Goes right into 3 Orange Bowls. So I love Iowa. Welcome to the Look Like Somebody podcast. I'm your host, Ricky C. Simmons. Hey, listen, before we get started, I want everybody to hit that subscribe button and share the video, man, so that we can get more people involved. I really think that's important because I have important messages. I'm very, very proud of the people that I asked to come on, and I'm still batting a grand because I got another great guest for y'all tonight. Stacey.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
See, I'm going to tell y'all a little something before we get started with this interview. Stacey don't like to be known as because she's too humble, but she's a doctor too. See, so we're going to learn a lot today. Stacey, let's go back. Before we go forward, let's go back. Where is Stacey from?
I am a Northwest Iowa country girl.
Northwest Iowa.
Through and through. So I'm a Hawkeye fan, so we're not going to start fighting already. We're not going to start fighting.
Hey, I'm going to be honest with you. I really have love for the Hawkeyes because the times that I played at Nebraska, thanks to Iowa, I was able to win 3 conference championships.
Oh, yeah, here we go. It starts all the time.
Goes right into 3 Orange Bowls. So I love Iowa.
I thought we weren't talking artifacts.
Okay, my bad.
I thought we were talking current day. Let's not go back. Glory. Yeah.
So growing up in Iowa, what was that like for you?
Oh, it was crazy. I didn't know it was crazy. Here's the funny thing about it. I thought everybody just looked like me. Mm-hmm. I thought everybody did what I did, talked like I talked.
Right.
Everybody was a first-gen kid. Their parents didn't go to college. That's just how the world ran. Mm-hmm. And I was okay.
What was the name of the town?
Lawton, Iowa. So we're about 7 to 12 miles due east. See, due, that's a country term. Okay. Due east of Sioux City, Iowa.
Oh, okay. Yep. Okay.
It's a tiny town. It has grown now because the people in the city, Sioux City, have moved out because we had a new school, all of those sorts of things. So life changed.
So you say growing up kind of like a country girl, basically.
For sure.
What all did that entail? I mean, what did you do? Farming?
So our family farmed.
Okay.
My parents were divorced. My mom remarried. I inherited 4 siblings.
Okay.
And that was different, right? That was very different. I didn't really know what that was. We lived on this old country road, so there was no walking to your friends.
Oh, wow.
You had to take the bus. It was a very different life from what, like my friends in the city, she'd walk up to the store, she would do whatever. And I'm thinking, you're only a few miles from me. How is that world there?
Right.
But this is my world, you know? And so worlds align right by a street, a street. And your world can be very different based on what side of the street you're on.
Well, you know, I was sitting there thinking when you were saying that, like, growing up on a farm, that means your neighbor could be a mile or 2 down the road.
Oh, for sure.
Wow.
Absolutely. It could take 30 minutes or better for the fire department to get there. So, you know, you get your job and career exploration early, right? Like you're the garbage man, you're the cook, you're, you know, the tutor to your siblings, you're, you know, the snow scooper, you're everything because stuff is a ways away.
Well, let me ask you this. When you were growing up in this environment, and I noticed you had referenced that you thought everybody was like you. Mm-hmm. So that means going to school, for example, was it like a community school or?
Yeah, so we merged with a town called Bronson. So it was Lawton, Bronson, the Mighty Fighting Eagles, by the way.
Okay.
My family still is there. Wow. So we have generations that have all gone through Lawton. Some I'm sure the teachers don't want to talk about, but others of us, we did all right. Like we did all right.
Okay.
I had a 58 in my graduating class.
58.
Wow. We were the school that everybody just liked everybody.
Yeah.
And if there was a beef, you just settled it.
Right.
But you didn't settle it the way we're settling things today.
Right.
But anybody's parent would pull you up.
Yes. That village concept.
Oh, in such a big way.
Yeah.
I don't know that my oldest son's friends liked that mantra because they're from Omaha and they're like, what do you mean your mom's pulling me up for doing something or taking my cell phone or taking my keys? But that's what I know. That's what I know.
Right. Well, now, you say you grew up in this small town or small town environment, I should say. You graduated high school and you're not going
to ask me my age, are you? When you said, I thought that was what year. I thought what year was coming.
No. I'm trying to, I think where I'm going with this is you didn't come from a well-to-do family.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. I'll tell you, here's my favorite story. None of us kids realized until we were in our 20s. And we were sitting talking with my mom one day and we said, oh man, remember that Christmas where like we walked out and there were presents, like the whole living room was full of presents. Like, Mom, did you hit the lottery? Like the lottery wasn't even around back then, right? Like, did you rob a bank? What did you do? And she's like, well, no, we were the Goodwill family that year.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, what?
Wow.
And she's like, yeah, we had nothing. We couldn't put propane in the tank. And I remember that thinking we were just having slumber parties by the fireplace. No, we didn't have any heat. But I didn't know. Like my mother made sure we didn't know.
Right.
You know, and we understood the value of $1. Like we all started detasseling corn when we were biddies, right? Barely could reach the top of the stalk. Babysat. We did all those things. Newspaper routes. But I didn't know. I didn't know we were poor. I didn't know we didn't have things.
Right.
Because what we had was just enough.
Right.
But so it was funny because here we are all in our 20s looking at each other like, what? Yeah. What do you mean?
We was actually poor?
Yeah, we were poor.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, and I brought that up because like I started to show off when I said you're now a doctor. I mean, to me, I know you're not big on titles and stuff. I get that and I respect that. But I think it's important for people to understand that even if you come from less, you can still achieve great things. And that's why I wanted to reference your upbringing. After high school, what was next for Stacey?
Yeah, I didn't think anything was next in terms of, I really didn't because we didn't go to college. My mom was an only child, born in 1943. And my grandfather, best human I've ever known, miss him dearly to this day, said to my mother, my mom never missed a day of school from kindergarten through high school.
Wow.
And he said, I'll pay for college or I'll pay for a wedding because she was dating a man who had been deployed to Japan. He was stationed in Japan.
Okay.
And my grandfather knew my mom was going to go to college. Like that's all she ever wanted to do, right? So that changes the trajectory of a family. And she chose a wedding.
Ah.
And my grandpa was like, she chose a what? What? And then didn't marry that man. She Dear John'd him, which is good for you, Mom, back in the day to be like, you're not the one, right?
Right.
And then met my dad actually at Offutt at a dance. And he was in the Air Force. My mom married him and 3 children later. But so we were first generation. We didn't know that was an option. We knew college existed for people.
Yeah.
My sister went to college and famously partied out her first year. She got a degree in partying. She was so good at it. Accolades to the big sister. And then it was a high school coach. And I said, I want to be in medicine. I don't want to go to school to be a doctor. I want to be around sports forever. And he said, well, you need to go into sports medicine. I was like, what are you talking about? He was an Iowa State grad, so I got to get a little love for the Cyclones, and I did it. I went to Wayne State and majored in K-12 teaching and athletic training, and there it was. That was the start.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, you know, when I'm sitting there listening to you, what goes through my mind is I have to give credit where credit's due. Even though you didn't come from that background where climbing the ladder in college was priority one. I mean, you did change some things. I mean, you made some changes for your life that wasn't in front of you.
No, oh, for sure not. You know, and as we were talking earlier, and I'm sitting here thinking, like, this is really all my mom, because.
Why do you say that?
we always knew education was very important.
Okay.
Very important to my grandparents, very important to my mother. My dad didn't have a college degree, but he was very streetwise. My parents divorced when I was 4. And so we knew, like, it was ingrained in us. We knew. But the people in our high school, our coaches, my brother was an athlete, you know, we knew that was next. But I'm sitting here thinking, and so there's 3 of us. And between the 3 of us, I have my doctorate. We have 3 masters. We have a principal certificate, a secondary at-risk counselor certificate, and 4 bachelor's degrees.
Wow. That's amazing.
And our next generation down all have degrees in training. And I'm thinking, that was my mom. That was my mom.
That's where it started.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay, that makes
so that's
sense.
really, it's Dr. Judy versus Dr. Stacey. It should be Dr. Judy.
Okay. Well, we're going to say Dr. Judy.
There we go.
Okay. Well, no, I mean, again, just congrats.
Thank you.
Even though I know it's not your deal to hang your hat on, I just think it needs to be acknowledged because so many kids, and I shouldn't say kids, but so many of our youth feel like if they didn't come from privilege, that they don't have a chance, you know, and seem like society does a great job of convincing them that they have to, since they didn't come from privilege, they have to make a way the way everyone else makes a way.
Right.
And one of the things we discussed earlier, too, was sometimes when, I love how you worded this, too. You said, I think I said, it's like they only listen to their peers, and then you said predators.
Predators.
Yeah, you know, and I, after you said that, it made sense to me immediately because a lot of times when kids listen to other kids their age, I mean, truth be told, in my opinion, I just don't think that neither one of them have lived long enough to really qualify to give advice.
Oh, for sure.
You know.
And that's scary.
Yeah. But see, like you and I, we got hindsight.
Right.
But
and hard knocks and lessons.
Yeah. Exactly.
Self-induced.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But a kid, I'm just going to pick on someone, let's say 10. If they're only listening to another 10-year-old, I mean, I don't know where your wisdom is coming from.
Right. For sure. You know, so with my oldest, and I have, to this day, I'm like, you were the dumbest parent ever. And let me just say, I was a great parent till I became one. I could tell you how to parent your child and your child and your child and your child. Then I became one, and I was like, this is a hard gig. This is a really hard gig, right? And I always made my son validate with fact.
Gotcha.
So he would say, well, Mom, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, where'd you get that research from? How did you find that out? Go figure that out for me and let me know. And if you can convince me differently, I'm all in. But I need to see your facts. Well, now, I lose every day. Every day. Because he's like, well, Mom, did you check that? Well, I agree. You want me to do that. And you think it's best for me based on your lived experience. He even knows the phrases, right? Based on your lived experience. But did you check it, Mom? And so it was a great thing because I like to say he wasn't fooled easily.
Right.
But it has to be consistent. And parenting consistently is difficult. It is so difficult.
Yeah. Well, you know, Stacey, I'm sitting there thinking about this. I mean, you've had an upbringing that was, in most people's eyes, not very encouraging from a financial standpoint, but you turned it into a very positive situation. And you made a comment that I don't know how you worded it, but you're not looking for employment or something.
Yeah. I have been blessed with wonderful positions.
Yeah.
I always tell people I've never really had to grieve a job because I'm still in touch with people from those places, or I'll teach a graduate class, or I'll go to an event. Like that's wonderful, right? So you left and you feel like you've left in a good place. And then you reach a point in your life where you pray for peace and you pray for people that you know every day. I'm a big believer. I have a strong faith. It's so many times in my life That is literally the only thing that has gotten me through. Yeah. I will say that I am famous, and I don't need the Lord to validate this today with lightning or anything else, but I am famous for turning it over and taking it right back. I'm like, oh, God, you're too busy today. Yeah. Let me just take that back for you, because I'm sure I can do it so much better than you do it, right?
I can definitely relate.
But when you finally decide that the people in your inner circle, and we talked about this, the circle of trust, are believers, not like-minded. I never want to surround myself with people who think only like me.
Right.
It's easier, but it's not healthy.
Yeah, no,
it's not healthy. And I don't grow. And so I prayed for peace, and that peace was, you've consulted your whole life to help make organizations better, people better, programs for kids. That's where your journey is. And you have all these amazing people around you who are just lifting you up and breathing into you every day. Take the gift.
Yes.
And I haven't, it's been amazing. I mean, we talk about people who were on here recently, Todd Smith from Find the Why.
Right.
God literally dropped him into Hardy Coffee in Benson on Maple Street. And a 30-minute meeting was 3-4 hours later talking about how do we do right by kids.
Right.
The Steve Warrens from Warren Academy.
Yes.
Dr. Andrea Nebel from Clarkson. Like, the list goes on. Sheila,
yes,
you know.
Yes.
When you make a conscious decision, and this is what I wish, if I could give any gift to a kid, it would be make a conscious decision about your circle of trust.
You know, circle of trust. Let's talk about that for a minute. Because I don't know I can't speak for anyone else, so I'll speak for myself on this one. I do have trust issues. You know, but I can honestly admit that I created the reason I have trust issues because of the choices I made earlier in life. It has lingered on into my current life, but it's more of a protection measure than it is, I think the world's full of bad people. No, I know what I know, and I've seen what I've seen. So trusting people, a lot of times I live by this mindset of, I hear what you say, but I'm watching your behavior.
And however I show up, if I show up consistently the same way, that's who I am.
Yes, and that to me has really played a major role in my life, especially in the last 16 years of being in recovery and being clean and sober. It's easier for me to listen to you, but it's even easier for me to watch you.
Well, and remember, trust is two ways, right? Do I trust myself enough to make the right decision about a person? And do I trust that person enough to show up the way they should show up? Yeah. And if they can't, do I trust myself to make the decision to just cut them loose?
And you know what? This part right here is going to sound a little bad coming from me, because I know we like to focus on the positive. But once I realized that I can't trust you, my cutoff game is strong.
Can you call my sister? Because my sister would be like, oh, no, don't let her get to that. Yeah. Because when she's at that, there's no counseling, convincing, flowers, chocolate. She's like, I'm done.
Yes.
Well, can we talk? No, I'm done.
Yeah.
And like, I'm done.
Yeah. And you know, the funniest part about that is when I get to that point, it's not even a argument. It's not a altercation. It's nothing. It's just like I just disappear.
And there's no pain to it.
Right.
Right.
I mean, and I sleep real good afterwards.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because to me, I feel like it's very important to surround yourself, like you say, with good people. And the minute they show you that they're not, I think it's real important that you give them what I call 50 feet. Because 50 feet, it sounds like a joke, but I'm really serious about it. I respect you enough even when I know we can't no longer be in the same space, I respect them enough to give them 50 feet so that they can be whoever they want to be.
Right.
You know, and that's not, to me, that's not a negative. That's called giving a person the opportunity to be who they want to be. I just, at this point in life, I look at life so much different now, and I want to put some good, you know, on the end of this thing called life. And my best example is like when people die.
Sure.
They have like a headstone. It may say born this year, then there's a dash, and then the year you died. Well, I'm looking at that dash.
Right.
Well, half of that dash, I didn't do very well. Well, whatever is left on that dash, I would like to do something good. And I would dedicate my life to making my parents in heaven proud of me. So that's where the rest of my dash is going to end. But unfortunately, I have to be open-minded enough to realize that everybody don't think like Ricky thinks.
And that's okay as long as they're not in your circle.
Boy, I don't know how you knew. I think you got a camera in my house.
I've been stalking and spying. I'm well aware there's an anti-stalking law in Nebraska, but I'm from Iowa. It doesn't pertain to me, right?
Okay. Well, I'll say this to you too, Stacey. I mean, I think it's important that we do respect people, even if they can't be in our circle.
Do you think that people can be good but not have good intentions?
I think that's very possible.
And it's still okay.
Yeah, and that's fine, as long as they do it over there, like way over there.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, there's a saying that says you can be a masterpiece and a work in progress all at the same time. And I so believe that. You know, like I can get up and be like, I'm the thing today.
Yeah.
Like I'm so the thing today. But at noon, I'm going to have to work on my thing because it's really not up to par.
Right.
And that's just the progress of a human.
I think acknowledging that and admitting to that, it's a form of accountability, you know, and seeing accountability is huge with me because I feel like none of us are perfect. I get it. I'm not even trying to sell that because perfect and Ricky C. Simmons does not go in the same sentence. But the thing is, my intentions are not to harm anyone else.
Right.
You know, and so that has to count for something in my mind. But there are people I know that I've had to cut off at different points in my life that I know their intentions were not good.
Right.
And those are the people that I try to avoid. I don't, like I said, I don't wish any ill will on them. I just need 50 feet, you know, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think that the concept of 50 feet is fair to both people, right?
Right. It's actually respect.
Absolutely. And there are times where we have seasons, you know, you and your best friend may be together for 25 years and then there's something about that next 3. It's like, I can't have that. Like that can't be where I am right now. Right. And I applaud you and that's your thing. And also I'll support you as a friend, but I won't support your behavior.
Right.
And I would want them to do the same to me, like check me on a regular.
Yeah. Well, to me, it's important.
Right.
Because this world, like us, again, another one of my opinions, which I think I'm entitled to, is the world that I live in. I see things that don't quite make sense to me. And even when they don't make sense to me, there's no one that's really going out of their way to make sure I understand why it doesn't make sense. So I'm forced to use this thing that I was raised with, and we discussed this too. I call it common sense.
And it's not all that common anymore.
It really isn't. And that, to me, I think is not a good thing, but, you know, it is what it is, so I respect that too. But I'm never going to let go of common sense because common sense has served me well.
Right.
You know, it's almost like that saying, you know, you know right from wrong, but you may make choices either way just because you can. But common sense allows me the ability to say, well, I knew better, but I chose not to do it, or I chose to do it anyways. So I get it. I mean, but unfortunately, in today's society, I don't see the value placed on common sense like it was when I was being raised.
Right. And, you know, and then we look at our kids, right? It's tough. It is tough, and what's being fed to them and around them and all those sorts of things. So this weekend, my sister and I took a weekend away, went to Sioux Falls, did some shopping, had a great time, and I walked into an athletic store, and I was looking for 4XL T-shirts for someone. And so I'm digging through all the stacks because they only get a couple of them. I'm well aware of that. Not a problem. That's commerce, right? Right. And there's 5 gentlemen, 20s to 30s, in the store. Now, the youngest of all of them, 18 or 19, is helping a customer. The other one was the manager, and then there's 3 others, and they're all on their phone doing their thing. And so I walk over and I just said, could one of you help me find these? And 3 of them look at me, they look at each other, and they all go in 3 different directions with their phone. Now, I could have gone country girl wild and made a horrible scene, which I have that in me, but I didn't. And the young man, and I didn't, one, because I had half a sense that day, but the young man turned around and he goes, "I'll be right with you." Now, he's still with a customer. The manager walks away. And I'm thinking, oh, this is, okay.
Yeah.
And I need to make a point today. And it wasn't even a Jesus take the wheel. It was, let me just make a point today. So he comes over, he's digging through all the T-shirts with me. He said, "Let me go look in the back." I'm like, "Thank you." He goes in the back. He's back there 5 minutes or so. He comes out. I see him interact with his manager. And his manager's like, "No, we just don't have them. We don't have them." He's like, "Can I look in the box? Can I just go open those boxes?" Like, he is advocating for my 4XL T-shirts I really thought I needed to buy, right?
Okay.
He goes in the back and he comes up. And he's like, "I'm so sorry we don't have them, but I'll order them for you and give you the sale price." "Thank you. Appreciate that. I'll buy these 2. That's great." So I go up to pay, and all of them now are behind the counter. And so I thought, here's your moment. And so I pay $16 for these 2 shirts. Now, I'm very fiscally conservative. I don't like to spend or blow money without intention, right? Unless it's on like a coffee, but that's a necessity of life. So to keep your friends. But so we get done, and I said, "I have something for you." And they all kind of look odd, like she's really weird. Like, I hope it's not her digits or something, right? She's old and this boy's young. And so I give him a $20 bill. And he looks at me, he's like, "Well, you already paid." And I said, "I know." I said, "But you were the only one who thought I had any value in this store today."
Wow.
And one of the other gentlemen goes, "Well, if I knew," and I said, "What, if you knew I was going to give you $20, you would have treated me like a human?
Wow.
You would have helped me?" And so I looked at the young man and I said, "I don't care what you do with the $20, but what I would like you to do is fold it up and keep it in your wallet. And when you think one day I'm just going to give up and not care and be like them, don't do it. I want you to think about that $20 bill and how somebody else saw how you showed up today."
Yeah.
And keep showing up that way, because that's what we need in the world.
Man, that you hit a nerve there, because customer service skills has taken a back seat, in my opinion, in a lot of places. I don't know what that's due to, but I just don't think it is it's not professional, first of all, and it doesn't cost you anything to be nice, especially when you're at work.
Right. Here's the deal. I think it went south when we started calling it, my personal opinion, customer service.
Yeah.
Don't look at me like a commerce or a commodity. Look at me like a human.
That's a good way to put it.
This is human service. Whether
service.
you buy anything, you don't, you just maybe had a bad day and like, I don't want to be alone, so I'm coming to the mall.
Right.
I have no intention and I don't have the money to buy anything. I just need to see a human.
I like that, human services. Yeah.
And we've taken that over to the social service side of life. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure Todd from Find the Why talked about the 20 tenets of culture. And it's through a company called Better Culture. And they really teach you 20 tenets. And I had this conversation yesterday. These are not soft skills. These are the foundations to what you want to look like and how you want to move the rest of your life. Things like coachability, kindness, don't gossip.
Right.
Tolerance, all of those things. And I think if we focus on that and how we treat humans, and it's not just customer or commodity, we start to make some change.
I think change in that manner is very important, because unfortunately, I don't know, maybe it's me. I'm gonna put it on me. But I don't run into a lot of people that actually have human services on the front of their mind. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just me. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I just go in the wrong places, but I go in general places. I mean, I go into grocery stores. I go into post offices. I go into department stores. And it just seems like I find more people that lack that ability than I do with that ability, if that makes sense.
For sure. Do you think it's because we're in our devices so much, and so the only person we're really communicating with is a device? I mean, we speak in emojis, we speak in abbreviations, and I get it. That's how we are. That's where we are in the world. Yeah. But that doesn't mean it shortens who we are as humans or how we interact with humans.
I agree.
And then think about our littles.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So go back to the predator thing and why I say that, because
let me say this.
Yes.
You shared a story with me about your 10-year-old.
my great niece.
Your great niece. Are you okay with sharing that?
Yeah, which one? The sleeve or the swimming pool?
The sleeve.
Oh, heavens, yes. Yeah, and when I send this to my sister, she'll be like, right on, girl, right on. I'm a boy mom. Let's just put that out there, right? Thank the Lord he knew I could not have girls because I'd have probably been in trouble. Very conservative family. We know what girls do and don't do in our family. Not that every one of us have not messed up. We absolutely have, but we've been forgiven, which is the best part about it. So I go back home to my Northwest Iowa farmhouse or farm town and country town. And my mom, my sister, my brother-in-law, and my 10-year-old niece and I go to the baseball game. This is just recent. Go to the baseball game. And, of course, I'm still looking for, like, Bermuda shorts on every girl, you know, because the phrase on the farm is, why buy the cow when you get the milk for free?
Yeah.
And that resonates loudly at any age for us. Where's your value?
Yeah.
So we're sitting there and we're right above the dugout and the players are coming in and I'm looking in this great peripheral vision and I see my great niece kind of do this thing with her sleeve. And I'm thinking somebody's about to get jacked up. Call the department of whoever because it's going down. And so I waited a couple times and I finally said, why are we doing that? And I have two non-negotiables I shared with you. Don't lie to me and don't treat people poorly.
Right.
So as a 10-year-old would, there became the beginning of a lie. I'm like, hard stop, don't lie to me, because then we got a whole nother level of crazy coming. So I said, nope, just tell me why. I just want to learn. Help me understand this, right?
Yeah.
And she said, well, it makes me pretty.
Wow.
And now, so mind you, my heart's breaking. Like I am broken inside to hear this child who I adore, as I do all my nieces and nephews and my boys. And I'm like, no, why do you think it makes you look pretty? And she's trying to explain, well, all the girls, and I see, and then she says it. She says it. And it was, but that's what they do on TV. So I'm steady texting like, every TV is getting burnt up in this house and every device is going to have parental controls. And I can't be mad at her.
Right.
I can be broken.
Yes.
And I can worry even more than I worry already, right? It's like trying to find clothes for them and all of those things. And we talked about the conversation of her feelings for her. She didn't get invited to a swim party. Oh, yeah, and all her friends did. And I said, it's because you got a gift. You were protected from what may have happened at that swim party. Somebody may have talked horrible about somebody. Somebody may have hurt your feelings. They may have laughed at you. I mean, kids can be mean. Adults can be even meaner.
Right.
But you got a gift by not getting invited. But don't think all 20 of those people are your friends.
Yeah. And that's sometimes a terrible mistake just humans make. We assume that everybody that laughs and smiles is our friend.
Oh, absolutely.
And that ain't true.
No.
I mean, a lot of times that laugh and smile is just the key they use to get in the door.
For sure.
And then once they get in the door and you get distracted, they go unlock the back door. Mm-hmm. You know, and now you're open for anybody to run up in here and influence your life. I really, really, really appreciate the things that I am blessed to know.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm really appreciative of that. I don't try to, like, for example, my spiritual life. I'm a spiritual guy. I'm not a religious guy. I'm not the guy that's going to tell you what you need to do.
No.
But I believe myself. So I'm very careful with that because there are some people that don't believe. Mm-hmm. There are people that have their own set of beliefs, and I respect them too. But the point is, I'm thankful for what I believe because it has served me well.
Right.
I mean, like I say, the stuff that I've done in the past that wasn't favorable, that's on me. Mm-hmm.
You have to own it.
Yeah.
We all do.
Boy, I told you, I stay up under the bus.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't have a problem admitting that. But
remember that worked in the movie Speed, getting up under that bus, and they went places. So don't you short sale being under the bus.
Hey, I love being under the bus because it helps others not have to go through that. You know, so I have this mindset, Stacey, that I think is is probably different from most of the people that's even in my circle. I don't necessarily understand everybody, but the few people that are in my circle, I really try my best to understand their perspective, even if I don't agree.
Right.
I try, but this world we live in is very unique in a certain way, because the reason why I say that is because, just like you said, your niece, she made the comment, well, that's what they do on TV. It's little things like that probably don't mean nothing to nobody else, but they resonate with me because I know I had to stop watching TV. Right,
the news.
Yeah, I had to quit because I was looking for something that they never was going to give me.
Right.
And I'll be honest with you, I didn't want to believe that. I believe that, for example, I thought the news was going to tell me what I needed to know to make my life better. And I hate to admit it, but I had to come to the conclusion that was not going to happen for me.
Right.
Now, it might work for someone else, but for me, it didn't work. Don't have anything against the news for as what they do. That's their business. But I can't partake because I don't have I don't get what I need from it.
Right. And oftentimes I find myself, I have a real issue with tolerance.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have two phrases that I say, actually three, over and over in my head. And one is just reduce me to love. Just reduce me to love, because in this moment I'm fixing to flip, right? Like, reduce me to love. And then the next thing is help me learn.
Right.
And then I shared with you earlier that one of my dear friends shared with me, and it's a song we sing at our church, which is Fear is a Liar.
Yep, I remember.
And I believe that. It's fear of the what ifs.
Yes.
It's fear of, but what if I had? What if I didn't? How are they showing up? What are they doing to look like me? All of those things. I get through those because of my faith. And when you talk about understanding others and you respect their religion, you respect that, I just want them to believe in something higher than themselves.
Yes.
If that is that big, beautiful apple tree in the backyard and that gets you there to realizing you're not the end all be all,
right,
I'm okay. It's not what I believe, but if that works for you in the moment, just believe in something higher than yourself.
Right. Oh, I agree with that. For a long time, I struggled with that.
Sure.
I will admit to that. I always thought that I was the smartest person on the planet. And one day I woke up and realized I'm about the dumbest person I know.
Mm-hmm.
And it was at that point when I was able to accept the things that I never wanted to take a look at, which is there is a power greater than me.
Mm-hmm.
And once I accepted that, all my problems didn't disappear, but they became easier to deal with because I wasn't relying just on me and my own understanding. And to me, I think that is very important, and it's still is very important in my life today. I just think that when you acknowledge, or I call it being humble.
For sure.
When you're humble enough to admit that I might not have all the answers, I may not be the smartest person on the planet. When you can do that, I think it's very important to making progress with your life. And a lot of people will disagree with that, and that's fine. Like I said, I don't claim to have all the answers, but what I will say is what I know I know.
Mm-hmm.
And once I have figured that part out, if you don't agree, then just 50 feet.
Right.
It's real simple. I mean, I am not smart enough to do complicated. That's what I.
And life is too short.
Yeah,
life is too short.
I can't do complicated. I tried, but I failed miserably. So I have simplified my life, and it works for me. Now it may not work for anyone else, but it works for me. And I think that that's one of the most important lessons I can give to anyone. If you want to have a productive life, first understand what you need to understand. Whatever that may be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm looking back, listening and thinking about your story. I mean, growing up on a farm, something I have no knowledge of, but to make it to where you have doctor status. I mean, come on, man. Everybody can't do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I know you're not big on titles and stuff. I get that. But to me, that's impressive. And I think it needs to be acknowledged, just like we acknowledge the things that aren't important, like the negativity.
Sure. And it runs rampant. You know, my love for Steve Warren and Warren Academy started in 2010. Newly divorced, a boy mom, and I signed my son up. I actually saw the flyer at Shields, signed him up for Warren Academy football camp. Just coming out, starting to play, football in 5th grade. Mm-hmm. And I'm there and I'm watching camp and everything because, of course, my background's in orthopedics and sports medicine, love all that. And at the beginning of practice, Steve has all these young boys who are like, this is a Husker legend. We're going to smack somebody. I'm going to be the next whoever. And he said, so we're going to start out today thinking about how to choose your friends wisely. I'm like, I'm in. That's it. I'm in. Sign me up. And I literally I'm sure he'd tell a bigger inflated story, but I wasn't that enamored with him, but slightly enamored.
Yeah.
Only because of that phrase, not because of he played at Nebraska, he played at the Packers. I didn't care. Right. I didn't know at that time because I'm a Hawkeye fan. I didn't know, and it would be kind of sinful to have known. But so afterwards, I said, I don't know what you do, but here's who I am, and I have to be involved. And then years later, I served on their board. Wrote some curriculum, volunteered, wrote elementary programs for the kids at Howard Kennedy. All of those things because of a phrase, choose your friends wisely.
Yeah. See, to me, those are things that you can't put a price on.
Never.
Yeah. I mean, because who would have ever thought that you seeing this thing at Shields
right.
would have led to what it led to?
Right. And the other thing that it led to is I knew even though both his dad and I, were together with Nolan, I mean, we both raised Nolan, my son, oldest boy. I needed him to be around very strong men. Mm-hmm. And I know other women are like, hey, you'll probably get calls and comments. I don't care.
That's fine. Yeah.
I know for me, for my son, he had to be around strong men. And I could not provide that. Now, don't get me wrong. I can play good cop, bad cop. I can play whatever you want to play today.
Yeah.
But I'm not the one in every occasion. And so I have been blessed through Steve, the people I've met, to really guide him into being a man. And I don't want anybody to get slighted and think that that's not necessary, but it doesn't have to be who's in your home.
Right.
It can be who volunteers at the school. It can be someone down the street. It can be a friend. It can be whoever. As long as it's the people that are in your circle.
Right.
That will lead your child in a way that you would want them led in. And I think we often think that can only happen within the 4 walls of our home, and that's not true.
No.
And my son would tell you that's not true.
Well, I'll say this, too. If you think about it, a lot of times, and this is just what I've witnessed from friends that have kids as well, at the end of the day, when you're trying to do a lot of these things from within those 4 walls, you're just mom or you're just dad. You don't know anything. That stuff you're talking about was way back when. But then someone that's outside of the house can come into their lives and say the very exact same things that you're saying, and it has a totally different meaning. It comes across very real to them, whereas if you try and remind them, well, I said the same thing, you're still just mom and dad. So I agree with the concept of, regardless of where it comes from, just get the message.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, if it comes within the house, great. But if it comes outside the house, that's great also. Because the message has to be received and appreciated to the point to where it can benefit you. And I think that was smart. I mean, even though it took that little small phrase to get you involved with Steve Warren and what he's got going. Right. I think that was a win. I mean, it was a win for Steve, win for you, win for the kid. I got this mindset, and I've said this over and over. You either win or you learn.
Right.
And I really believe that. I can look at life a little different now because I got proof that you either win or learn. Lose, I don't buy into that. I think you learn more than you lose. So I really believe that what you did by taking that chance and signing your son up, I think it's still paying dividends to this very day.
Oh, absolutely. And you look at, like, how do you teach a kid to pick friends wisely? How do you teach them? How do you teach a kid to pick friends wisely?
That's a challenge.
Right. It's a big challenge. And so, Todd Smith and I talked about Find the Why. And he said, when I knew you were going to go from being a colleague to family was one night I'm actually at a bar with some friends, my neighbors, and it was out by where his kids go to school. And there was some activity at a football game. It's like 9 p.m. And he had said earlier in the day that his kids were going to the game. Mm-hmm. And I'm firing up the phone. I'm like, where are the kids? And like, I had not known him that long, but I'm like, I'm out right by the school. There's some activity going on. There's police everywhere. Where are the kids at the game? Did the kids go to the game? Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, one ended up going to her boyfriend's game. One got in trouble, had to stay home. So they're not there. But he's like, I knew at that moment that you were going to be part of my circle because you were looking out for kids you never met.
Yeah.
And it's the same with Sheila and the folks, like you said, you interview Bo recommends Todd recommends me, I know Steve, then there's Sheila. 6 degrees of separation is really 2.
Right. And that to me means a lot because, like I said, I do have trust issues. I mean, I'm not hiding or running from that. But whenever people that I feel comfortable with recommend people, I take a look at them. Yeah. I really do. And it's not a hard look either because I already know that person. I just, like I said, I'm pretty good at reading what I need to read when it comes to people.
Here's the beauty about your trust issues, though, not that I'm analyzing you at all. So you reminded me several times about today, at this time, boom. And I loved that because I didn't take offense to that at all. But it said to me, here's part of your story where at some point in time, somebody didn't show up when they were supposed to. So that's still ingrained, right?
Right.
I have that same fear. Like my son will say, how many more times are you going to remind me about that?
Yeah.
Mom, I got it. Okay, well, you may not have it on my time, but you got it. But my grandpa always said the 6-3 domino. Always try to be the 6-3 domino because when you play dominoes, a 6-3 makes a 15 every time.
Right.
And so if you can be the 6-3 domino.
I got these ways of looking at things that doesn't really make sense to a lot of people, but I always just say my heart's in the right place.
Always. I loved it. And here was the other thing. It was my little connection to you leading up to today. So I was like, we've never met. I feel so comfortable because you're texting me. You're like still all in on having me on your show. Like I loved that.
Yeah. And see, this part is going to sound really like I'm putting somebody down, but I'm not. I do repeat myself a lot, but I do it on purpose.
Sure.
And the reason why I do it so much is because when a person that I have repeated myself to constantly say, man, I don't remember you saying that, I can say, really? Mm-hmm. All the times I said this, or all the messages I sent you, or all the times we've talked and I repeated myself, you don't remember it. It's not that I have a short of memory. It's not that type of deal at all. It's, to me, it's showing that I'm really serious, and it's also everybody else got a busy life too.
Absolutely.
So, when I send these reminders, these are just, hey, don't forget, put this on your schedule.
Which is wonderful because you don't know what moment they're living in, right?
Correct.
It's like, I can't tell you how many times I text the fellas, Todd and Steven said, no green. And then what did I text you? Yeah. I was like, now I'm not supposed to wear green, right? And here I am and telling them their business.
And I really appreciate that though, because Dylan does a wonderful job, but I don't want to make his job more difficult than it is.
No.
He's already got a full-time job trying to make me and my guests look good. Now we come in here with green in front of a green screen.
Right.
Then now we're asking him to do more work.
Sure.
So I'm very careful about what we wear.
Details are great.
Well, I just think it's important, and it makes everything else simpler.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you get to enjoy the moment. Then.
Right. And I love simple. Like I said, I'm not smart enough to do complicated, so simple is good for me. I got to ask you this, though. You do a lot of work What's the most important thing, should I say, that you're doing now that you're really proud about?
Pulling people up.
Pulling people up. What do you mean by that?
Yeah. So I'm working on writing a series of micro-credentials that start with Find the Why.
Okay.
And we're partnering with OneSource, the background check company, who are amazing individuals, by the way. And I'll explain that in a second, but helping kids through Find the Why in middle school. So I've written a series of things. So we have a healthcare program, health exploration program that starts in third grade that was paid through funding through the Nebraska Hospital Association, the Nebraska Healthcare Association, Nebraska Medical Association, which are our docs, and Medica Insurance 2-3 years ago. And I wrote a year-long curriculum where 1 hour a week they learn about healthcare professions. Because right now all they know is doctors and nurses, right?
And you got some pushback for being in third grade.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
And which I'll never understand because we talked about earlier, peers versus predators.
Right.
I didn't know what the streets were because I mentioned to you, crime in our town was something happened on the farm with a machine, right?
Yeah.
And back in the day, maybe somebody stole anhydrous or copper or whatever, but it wasn't these streets.
Right.
So for me, that was even more than what somebody who lives in it sees because I had no concept that this is what our littles live in. I had shared with you when I said to a kid, well, how'd you sleep last night? And they said, under the bed. And I was like,
under the bed?
No, I was looking for good, restless, blah, blah, under the bed. That heightened me, right?
Right.
So I knew this concept of career exploration in high school was too late. Career exploration in middle school was too late. It had to be earlier, but why it had to be earlier was because of a kindergartner. In 2015, I took the fire science program from Metro. I was the dean of health there at the time, and the Omaha Association of Black Professional Firefighters, and we did a career day at Howard Kennedy Elementary, part of the DREAM program, proud of Steve's program. And it was a great day. It was an amazing day. Mm-hmm. And I'm getting ready to leave, and my chest is puffed, and I'm like, we did the right thing today. And a kindergartner comes up to me and says, Miss Stacey? I said, yes. He said, I didn't know Black people could be firefighters. I was crushed. I went around the corner. I had a very emotional response. I'm like, I'm from a town where everybody looked like me.
Right.
You're not. Why did you ever think that? Like, how did that happen? How did we allow that to happen? Like, I don't know what that is. We immediately started acting. Thank goodness we had this great faculty at Metro. We had great administration, the mayor's office, and they helped fund putting in the after-school program and junior fire cadet program.
Wow, okay.
Where kids went in and mentored those kids. We're doing the same thing with healthcare. And that project is being led by Nebraska Hospital now, and I'm glad for that, and they're doing great work. And then Todd and I's work is building now into an awareness. We have, when kids go to make selective admissions to a college program, healthcare, the trades, construction, skilled, finance, they got to have a background check. You will be shocked at the things on an 18-year-old's background check that they had no part of.
Yeah.
They're like, I was there, but it was my buddy who got in trouble. They didn't even know. So working with companies like OneSource to say, let's get this program, Find the Why, in there earlier. Let's have you take the 20 tenets of culture to learn about how you want to move. Let's have you do the DISC assessment so you know how you work best and who you work best with. And let's make sure there's no barrier. Let's remove the barrier. Let's get you a background check to say, is there anything we've got to take care of? Because we can't expunge in our state. We can set aside.
Right.
Let's do it and do it early, not when you're 18 ready to launch.
Yes.
That's why I fight so hard to do this younger, and we're doing it. And then the micro-credentials say, instead of it costing you to take all these things to get prepared to launch, you can take all of these micro-credentials to get you the minute into a great internship in high school making $15-20 an hour.
Yeah.
My goal is that nobody pays for college. My goal is that our industry partners see what great work we're doing with young people to prepare them for the workforce. They invest in their education. Because remember this, student loans will determine what car you drive, what house you own, what vacations you take in your life. We have got to teach our kids to be wise consumers and to allow them to know how to use other people's money because they are the product. They're the talent. Like right now, I'm the product. My brain is the product.
Right. I got you.
And what I can do for others, writing programs or micro-credentials or advocating or whatever, connecting people, that's my product.
I got to ask this question, though, while we're on this subject. What, if you had to give me a honest answer, why did you choose to be like this? I mean, why did you choose to help and be a connector like you are? What led to that?
I could have been nothing. I could have been simple-minded, closed-minded. I could have been siloed. And I want to be very clear, that's not how I'm identifying people from my town.
Yeah, I got you.
Or people from rural America. But it was because of those people, because of my mom, because of my sister failing out beautifully in college, but taking the risk to go. That Iowa State Cyclone coach, at my high school that said, you can be so much more.
Yeah. Somebody encouraged you.
And believed. Even to this day, my new adventure of being out on my own, don't get me wrong. I mean, don't anybody get it twisted. There is absolute concern. It's not fear, because I'm feeling really, really bold right now. There's a concern. I know how much money I have in savings. I know how many months that's going to get me through. I know what I have to do to be sustainable doing this and partnering. But I know that the people around me are A, faith-based, B, believe in me, build me up every day, and say, we've got you. We've got you.
Yeah.
I have now been on my own officially for 2 months. I've not applied for a single job. I have literally just continued to connect with people, to get consulting contracts, they could be little tiny ones from a 1-hour talk to whatever. No, I'm not getting paid for this, so I don't want anybody else to get upset thinking you slid me a 20 under the table or anything. We better clarify that. No. But others believed in what they saw on days I couldn't see it.
Yeah.
And that's what our young people have got to see, that you are so much more than what you see. But it's more than saying it, help them get there.
Yeah. I like that. And, just the fact that you mentioned the part about believing, someone believed in you. I can relate to that. And it's well documented. During incarceration, didn't have a lot to really look forward to, but I received a letter in prison, and short paragraph, which he won't take no credit for this, but I always try to say it as much as I can. Tom Osborne reached out to me in prison. He said, Dear Ricky, I know your parents believed in you. I believe in you, and upon your release, if there's anything I can do to help you, feel free to contact me. And it was signed Tom Osborne. And that simple paragraph in prison basically turned my life around. And for 16 years and counting, I see Coach Osborne once a week. And I remind him how much I appreciate that letter. And he still downplays it. Oh, Ricky, it was just a letter. Da-da-da. What I'm trying to say is, when someone believes in you, it can make all the difference in the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And to this
deeds and words.
Right. And that's why I look more into behaviors, so more so than just words. I mean, he wrote that letter, but to this very day, 16 years later, he's still available for me.
Right.
See, that's your actions. That's your behavior. That's what I'm watching.
Right. That's how you show up consistently.
Right. It's called accountability.
Right. And I think, too, the beautiful thing, so my significant other is an amazing human being, and it's been a really interesting journey, because the other day he said to me, I love how you're responding. He's like, you're so busy. You're out doing things, like your calendar's full. You're meeting with people. You're trying to create opportunities, but you're bringing everybody with you. Right. And he's like, don't forget to take care of you first, and then bring others with you, right?
Right.
But just even that affirmation, You know, because I may think I'm a big deal today, which usually I don't think that because of self-doubt, but I may think I am, but you validating it for me, that's what I needed.
That's what it's all about.
And yeah, and it's about where do you seek validation from? And that's what our kids need to know.
And that's what we're on a mission.
Oh, every day that we wake up. First of all, thanking the Lord we woke up.
Correct.
Because so many didn't today.
Oh, absolutely. Trust
you know.
me, I know that to be true myself. Well, listen, I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be a part of the show. I wrap my show up the same way every week. So I'll stay true to that. Every day you're blessed to see is just another day in paradise. And you got to look like somebody, but do that for yourself. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This has filled my heart.
Well, you've done a wonderful job, so thank you very much.